All right, I think now we're live.
Confirmed. And ladies and gentlemen,
We're back.
episode 20, big 2-0.
Big 2-0.
It is
We gave ourselves a week, man.
We did, but we had a lot of content to put out in the meantime.
We did.
And it's been doing well.
It's been doing very well.
A lot of positive feedback on that.
Tons of good feedback. Shout out to KP. That's my brother right there.
It was a good time in Miami.
Yeah, he let us into his environment, and we had a really good time. Give me your Miami recap. I mean, we just got back. I had a great time there for the people who didn't see, but we went there for more than just having a good time. So, but give me your thoughts on Miami, the entire excursion, and fresh eyes.
Yeah, I was overwhelmingly surprised at how much I enjoyed Miami.
Okay.
Because as we all know, I'm not a big city person.
Okay, so I guess what did you expect when you went there? What were you thinking it was going to be?
I didn't think it was going to be like New York, but I had like that New York feel of everything's kind of moving quickly and everybody's just kind of like fighting for themselves. It's every man for themselves. It's not really what I felt, and I don't know how to describe what I felt, but it almost felt like a more relaxed nature. Maybe it was the spot we were in.
I think you're pretty spot on with that.
It was relaxed. It was fun. The weather was nice, which was good for the most part. So it was just the vibes were good. And
yeah.
I'm not saying that I expected it to be bad vibes, but I kind of expected more New York feel, and it wasn't like that at all. So I was happy.
It's interesting you think that would have been New York because like when people who go down to Miami, or especially during the pandemic, people went down to Miami to get away from that, I guess, hustle and bustle that I guess existed. I guess that wasn't existing in New York at the time because everything was shut down to a degree, but Miami was on. And it was still going, and it was still a party. Mm-hmm. But once it settled down, you could find yourself in a place where it was settling down to a degree where I think if you want to find the party, you can find it.
Yeah.
If you want to find the mix, you can get into that if you decide to. But I think what was more interesting about Miami is there's less. I guess there's opportunity there. There's opportunity there, and I think that it really depends on what you're going there for. Like, I wouldn't suggest someone go down to Miami to do the same job that maybe they're doing that they could do somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's a very creative city.
I had that same thought I was going to bring up if it came up, but it wouldn't be a city where I could go and probably be the most productive.
Correct. I don't even know how people go to school out there.
Yeah.
And be successful. Like, I think, but I also understand that, you know, from our perspective too, like I think everybody thinks they're going to do something more than they are before they get there. But like, you went there with mature people who have mature eyes, you know, like you don't, and I think in your positions of what you're doing now, you're not necessarily worried about the activity. No. You know, I think you'd go there for not only the training side, but being able to train all the time in the same climate.
Yeah.
And that allows you to be outside 6 or 7 days a week, to give you beach workouts, to train with people who are going to come down there and give themselves like a getaway. Like even the NBA players and the NFL players, when they get a chance to go when they're done their respective seasons, they go down there to train, and it just gives them more access to training.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah, I overall very happy with it. Even when we were in those scenes where there's a lot of people, that is not my cup of tea. I didn't feel necessarily overwhelmed.
It's a good dinner city, though.
Dude, talk about the dinners. That was the highlight of my weekend.
We had some good dinners. Where was the first place we went? Oh, so we went to Japanese barbecue.
First time for me, Japanese barbecue.
Very good time.
Great experience there.
I'm gonna do that for my birthday. I think on next Tuesday.
It's your birthday next Tuesday. December 1st? No, 5th. Yeah. December 5th.
So I'll be doing that. Shout out to all the Sagittarius out there. Let me know what the horoscope is too, because I think I got some good juju coming. So, what else? We went to the Mediterranean.
Zuru, right?
Zuru.
I like Zuru.
Right over inside the
great steak.
The beautiful hotel.
Great steak.
great steak on a nice hot skillet for you. That was gorgeous.
I'm a steak guy.
It was a beautiful scenario you had there. Papas Patatas Bravas is what they are.
What was that?
With the potatoes and the little tomato, tomato paste or whatever. It was
that was
beautiful.
good.
Everybody looked beautiful that day too. We had some good guests.
Mm-hmm.
Good guests.
Yeah, that was a great night
and a really good time. And then we were in Brickell for Toscana. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that place was called. It's everything was Italian. I couldn't pronounce it for my life.
And we had some excellent guests too for that as well. But we were spent at that moment.
Those are some good stories in that.
Yeah, night. I think one of the things I like going to new cities for is meeting new people, especially. That's why you got to have friends in different cities. Making friends in different cities and having friends who have other friends in those particular cities, you end up learning. And if you're trying to learn something or you're trying to start engaging with people and creating new communities in different spots, like, you're going to learn different perspective on how life works. And
yeah, that was crazy. And I left there with a whole new perspective on everything. For like the latter.
What's the best thing you gained out of some of that perspective? Like, what's one of the things you're going to take with you?
It was just that whole idea that Americans were very. It's the United States is like the only country on the planet in a lot of ways. It's nothing else exists, and the way she was talking about it, and there's a lot more that exists in the world, and a lot of different places to see, and so many different cultures, and just to appreciate everything around you, and not be so, I don't know what you want to call it, like microscopic level of everything in your world is your world and nothing else is outside of it.
Yeah, short-sighted, narrow-minded.
Yeah. Like open up to see what else the world has to offer outside of your area, and that's kind of what I took, and it was insightful to be able to hear.
Yeah, it's well said. I think it was insightful. I took the way that business runs in different places internationally, where one of the things that was one of the most fascinating parts of what Ksenia was talking about. Shout out to Ksenia as well, and she said Americans are very passionate about getting the right job and the right things for themselves because they look at their work as like, we live to work as opposed to work to then live. And it's not the same way in Europe, where they get jobs to however's going to pay them the most, and they do that job and they get out of there as quick as possible, and they go travel and they go have their fun and they go enjoy their lives, and they don't care about that thing that's keeping them at work for 8 or 9 or 10 hours. And it's just it's a less complaining culture.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, because they're just trying to go from one place to the other. It's not about that. It's about what's going to be able to support you the best, and you go where the money is. And that's a really fascinating part too, because right now, if you talk to a lot of people in this country, and I think a lot of the culture of working from home and working in the right position and working in a place that's going to give you satisfaction, we tend to really put into perspective what we really want to do as opposed to what we're supposed to do.
Right.
And I think that holds us back a little bit, especially from like I know a lot of people in debt right now, right? In debt from school and in debt from a home, whatever it may be. And they'd rather do the job that they quote unquote love so that they can continue to live life the way that they see fit, but instead of the job that's going to get them the most money, to get out of that debt. Really interesting. Yeah. And that was what it took me to, was like, man, there's so many people who out here who are just like doing, what would you call it? I would say are kind of short-sighted with I need to do something that makes me super happy all the time, when like, I think you have to earn that. And I think that people, and I'm not saying that the European value isn't that either. I think that people want to do stuff that makes them happy, but like they're not going to sacrifice the dollar to make them extremely happy versus like pretty happy. You know?
Right. Yeah.
Really interesting.
It is really interesting. It's just a whole different perspective, a whole different life that they live. And it was just cool to sit back and hear about it and really kind of put it into my life and kind of go with it and see what I can plug in and try and do something new. But
Right.
yeah, that was probably one of my favorite parts of the whole weekend was just listening to that.
What's the next place you'd want to go? Knowing that you saw a city that was in the South that was like a major city, now seeing how kind of things operate in different places, where do you think you'd want to go next?
That's a tough one.
I have a place that I want to go because I got two of my good friends down there in a southern city.
Are we doing southern cities only? Because,
No, listen, I got friends all over the place.
well, before the trip, I always said I wanted to go to Spain, and then listening to her talk about Europe and how they operate
Milan, yeah.
makes me want to go there even more. So I would probably say somewhere in Spain,
Okay.
like Barcelona or
We're going to have to make some money soon.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a long ways away probably.
But sure,
But
yes.
if a dream location, I would say somewhere in Spain.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely want to do some things in different parts of the world.
I haven't been across the big pond. Never been into Europe. Never been to anywhere over there. So
You're young though, excuse me. Yeah, you got time to definitely go and travel that way and save up, man.
that's what I'm trying to do.
Save up, invest the money you've got into making it so that you can you can double, triple, quadruple it all up and then take some of that money and go to the next spot.
That's it.
I definitely want to go to Houston. I got some friends out there.
Houston's a good one.
Houston's a good, fun city that I think that I haven't been to yet.
Have you been anywhere in Texas?
I have not.
Heard Dallas was. I heard mixed feelings about Dallas.
I've heard Dallas is a really cool city. I've heard it's the best. It's the number one in Sports Business Journal. It's the number one sports city in America.
Is that
As
a
far
fact?
as like sports business. Yeah,
Wow.
it just got voted number one this year.
New fact. I never knew that.
Yeah, I think I forget what's the top three, but I know Dallas is number one.
Interesting. Yeah, I would like to do like a whole Texas trip
A whole Texas trip would be ideal.
because there's a lot in Texas and it's very large.
It's humongous, and I think it would be a great drivable scenario. It's just so big. It's so big. Like, but Austin to Houston, I think is what, a couple hours? I think it's like 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, I don't think it's that bad. I
It's
think
not super bad.
Yeah.
Austin, I've heard, is a great city. There's Austin City Limits tour, festival, not the tour, that is in Austin, Texas, and they do a great festival. I'm not sure what it's gonna look like this year, but it's usually like in like September, October. Definitely something I would go to. Meet some artists, do some things like that. So then after we got back, it was going to be Thanksgiving, and there's Thanksgiving Eve.
Yep.
Did your brother do anything for Thanksgiving Eve?
Did he do anything for things?
He seems like the guy.
I think he did. Am I blanking? No, I think he went to.
Was it like a Tommy's Tap situation?
No, it wasn't. I think he went to Asbury, but
Johnny Max?
I don't know if it was Thanksgiving Eve. I want to say it
It was
was.
like the Wednesday right before?
I don't know. My days are a little mixed up. I think it was. So I'm gonna go with yes. It was. I went to Asbury. I don't know what the heck he did over there, but you know.
When you've gotten out of your town, as long as I have, you got to be careful with going back. Be careful with going back to your town if you've gotten out. If you've gotten out and been successful, and you've gotten out and had issues with people in your town, you don't go back that often. That's all I'll say.
You want to elaborate?
How can I elaborate without putting myself in a stupid position?
You don't have to elaborate. I think I
like to elaborate.
I got the memo. I don't know if other people did.
Yeah. Just be careful with who you see. Be careful with who you see, how you move. I saw a lot of great people. I will say that. I saw a lot of great people who've not only consistently supported me, but they're now supporting the podcast. I saw some people. I talked to about 8 people who said, podcast is sweet. You guys got some really cool stuff going on. And I like that. I like that. I appreciated that. I appreciate that a ton. And they like what we're doing.
Are they your age range?
Some of them.
Most of them?
Most of them. Between like 24 to like 27.
Because I don't know. It's hard. I don't want to generalize, and I don't want to make this assumption, but from my eyes, from what I've seen, I run the accounts. So I see everything. I know I'm looking at everything. I can see who's following, who's liking, who's supporting. The 97% of our following and our supporters are your friends, are your age group, are your people.
Shout out to you guys, man.
And the 3% are mine. I think my generation or my age group are a lot less supportive in general of their colleagues than your generation. I think so.
That's so interesting you say that, because I wouldn't have taken that, honestly. I feel like, and I think that both people will have a level of support. I just don't know if people at your age yet know where you're going with it. Because like I've had enough time to establish some of the things that I've been trying to do. And I've been able to talk to people about some of the ideas that I've had that were concepts at the time that now are that have been not only manifested, but have turned into successful things. So now when people see me, they're like, you were trying to do this all along, and now it's happening. So I'm not really surprised. I'm just happy you're doing it.
Yeah.
And so there's a level of support there that shows like there's hard work that goes into like putting things together and not only manifesting a scenario, but then letting the scenario work through and then seeing it be successful. Like there's been support for that too. So I thank those people. I also think that there's people who are, and this might be the hot take, I think there's people who are supporting because they want to be, how can I say this without making me feel like a hater?
Without getting canceled?
No, it's almost like support that allows you to, if you see it, if it does fail, you were there. Like at least you were there for the support, kind of. Like I don't even know how to really describe it, but like I don't always feel like it's 100% genuine, but I'll take it. You know, I'll take it because I think you're trying to say, I think I know what you're trying to do. And it's not always entirely genuine, but I think that they're supporting that someone's trying to do something outside in their town.
So that no matter which way it goes, they could say they were there.
Yes.
I don't think it necessarily always has to be 100% genuine, and I don't know that I expect it to be, but at least, you know, if I see you supporting it at all, like on one post, then I'll be like, all right, cool, thank you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do I expect it to always be 100% genuine? No. So I guess that's the way I look at it. But I'll take all the support anyway, any which way.
Yeah. No, I'll take the support. I'll take the hate too. I like the hate a little bit.
It's funny. Dude, I live in that. It's so funny.
Yeah. No, I think the hate is good. I think you need that, especially it shows that you're doing something. I think people need to hate on something to feel gratified themselves. Like they want to feel a part of it.
Yeah. You know? So this is a little bit of a, not necessarily off track, but it's just something I really had to mention this now that we're on the topic. It kind of goes hand in hand of like, you got haters, so like you're doing something. And starting this podcast, I was always like nervous about like what everybody else would think about it. And then in training one day, our coach George, he is the man. He like, we can sit here, he talks almost too much. Chats. But you know, you sit there and you enjoy the conversation he has, and he teaches in such a interesting way. He was teaching a move. It's called a sacrifice throw, where you have to kind of put yourself in a vulnerable position to ultimately end up on top. But someone asked a question about it, and he goes, guys, it's not so much of a speed thing. It's more so a balls thing. Have some balls and just do it. So that's just the thing of like hating haters and having haters and like not worrying about it and having some balls to do it. So that's kind of like,
you need some nuts, man.
But that was so funny when he said it. Guys, it's not a speed thing. It's a balls thing.
No, I think a lot of risk has to get taken into doing things that people are going to hate on. I like taking risk. I've been a risk taker. I've been bit in the ass from risk, and I've won a lot of risk. And so it's, you know, it's part of seeing things grow, and it's part of making sure you grow as well. Yeah. We'll get on to one day we'll be on a Patreon. I'll tell you about what happened on Thanksgiving Eve.
Oh, jeez.
One day we'll get on a.
Not good enough. Not available on YouTube, guys.
Yeah. No, one day we'll get on some paid content. If you guys want to hear what happened on Thanksgiving, you guys will have to pay for that.
I actually made our Patreon account.
That's beautiful.
But yeah, still got to set it up and all that. But it's there.
Yeah. No, let's start. Let's
Yeah,
start because I got some things to say.
Yeah, we got
some real things to say.
Yeah, some.
Then you go into Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
How are your parents?
Good. I mean, this was.
Who makes the food?
Oh, that's my mom.
Okay.
Well, they go hand in hand. My dad has.
Oh, it's a dual effort.
Yeah, it's definitely a dual effort. Usually we go to our grandma's, but this year we didn't.
Okay.
We stayed home. My parents were like, "Oh, let's just stay home and have our Thanksgiving to ourselves."
Okay.
So we did that. So it was a dual effort. Hot take: we didn't have turkey.
What?
Did not have turkey this year.
What do you mean you didn't have turkey?
Didn't have turkey.
What did you have in place of that?
Ham and steak.
Ham and steak.
I would like to formally write a petition to get steak as the replacement for ham, or not replacement for turkey.
Why?
It's better.
I guess on that day, you should just go turkey and just be like everybody else.
Yeah.
I mean, listen. You're not gonna tell me to not go with steak in most scenarios. Like, I'm a steak guy, but damn, no
It's
turkey.
very different. Yeah, it was very different.
Was it because of the prep? Is it because you guys just didn't want to go through the hassle of making a turkey? Like,
Don't ask me. I didn't cook.
okay,
But I would say probably. And
there's nothing like making a turkey, man. It's nice. It's part of it's part of the tradition. Like, and I'm not really always into traditions. I think there's a lot of traditions that are bad traditions. I think there's some traditions that people say are still traditions, but we should probably break it.
Yeah.
But that's a good one. Like, making a turkey is just and you got a good backyard to make a turkey. Like, you
we
could
do.
nice fried turkey, 2-3 hours, stand out there like men. That's right up your alley.
yeah, But yeah, that was the Thanksgiving.
Ham though.
A little different.
Ham was money.
I'm not a ham guy.
What?
Don't.
What are you exactly?
Yo, hold on.
You're not a ham guy and you're not a turkey guy. So
Steak
Thanksgiving's just kind of out of the picture for you.
I like the sides. I'm a sides guy.
Okay.
But yeah,
Now, what sides? What's
steak and
our
all the
sides?
Mashed potatoes, corn, green beans, biscuits.
Okay.
Those little, I don't know what they're called. Are they called cranberries? You know what I'm
Cranberry
talking?
sauce.
Yeah, it's like the slices.
Yeah.
We slice them.
Yeah.
Slice them and dice them. I like them. I don't know.
It might be.
No way.
I've heard 3 or 4 kids.
I don't live in.
Love cranberry
way.
sauce. It might be a blank thing. It might be a Monmouth County thing.
It might be a New Jersey thing.
It could be a New Jersey thing. But yeah, I don't know what that is. I think there's something going on with that because
I thought that was just
there's
like
3 kids from that town.
I thought it was a traditional, everybody had it.
It is, but it's just there just to be there. Nobody's eating that entirely.
Dog, we eat that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that town lives off of that. I don't know.
I don't know. That's weird. I thought that was everybody had it on their table and everybody ate it. Okay, I guess that's.
It's on my table, but
You
it's on
don't
my
need
table just as tradition. It's not there because
It's back
anybody's
to the
gonna eat it.
tradition thing, man.
That's what I'm saying.
If it's not good, then take it off the table. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
but it's we do it in tradition just because it's that. It's because okay, we gotta get the cranberry sauce, you gotta get the sweet potatoes. It's all those things that make it what it is.
I don't know. Okay.
It's just because it's not gonna break your bank. It's not gonna break your time.
It's fair.
Right?
It's fair.
It's a can.
Takes up space.
It's a can. You open it, you slice it, boom, it's
Slice
done.
and dice. And yeah, that's probably my plate. Get a few of those, a few rounds of those. And,
Okay.
Call it a day.
It's steak too. Wow.
Come on.
You didn't have enough steak out there in Miami?
I had one steak.
I feel like we ate a lot of steak though. Not from the Japanese barbecue too.
Oh yeah, the Japanese
saying,
barbecue.
you got
that was
jammed
a lot.
up with some steak.
That was a lot of. Yeah, that was a lot.
Yeah.
Forgot about
a lot
that.
of red meat we had out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I need we still got to do that water fast, by the way.
We do. I've actually been talking to my girl about that. I've been thinking about we want to do it going into the weekend. We got a wedding to go to.
When do you have a wedding? I have a wedding to go to soon.
I have a wedding on the 2nd.
Oh.
This Saturday.
Oh, this Saturday. Oh, I got
Yeah,
mine. at the
this
end.
Saturday. So I'm thinking to do the water fast Thursday, Friday. Thursday to start it, Friday to come in here and talk about it.
I was thinking about maybe a 24-hour one to ease into it.
I'm trying to just, I don't do it. I rarely do things in moderation.
Okay, but I feel like that can
Do you think you have addictive personality?
A what?
Do you think you have an addictive personality?
Yes and no. I think it's very specific. Like, for the majority of the time, no.
Okay.
Like, you're not going to get me to become addicted to, I don't know, alcohol or anything like that.
So then I would say no. I would say you don't have one then.
Yeah, I think
because you'll know if you have one.
I'm pretty disciplined. I'd like to think so. No, I don't think I'm addicted.
You think you can cut things off that you can see will be a detriment to your life in a split second?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you don't.
And I think I've done it.
Yeah. So like, what's one thing that you think you stopped that you were addicted to that like you stopped right away, like that?
Let me think about it. Do you have one?
I think it was weed. I definitely did that when it was time to stop. Like, I did it a lot in high school. But a lot of kids were doing it a lot at that time in high school on a consistent basis. But it never was like an addict type of thing. But like, I didn't have a problem doing it. And then once it was time to stop, because like, you get to college, you play baseball, you get tested, all those things. And I knew that I wanted to be a professional. So I was like, all right, like if I'm going to do this, I got to move like a professional. It was just done. You're done. And like, that was easy.
Probably caffeine, to be honest, or just energy drinks in general.
And you can have it, and I think one of the things that's interesting about an addictive personality is that you can have it where it doesn't become a detriment to everybody, right? It could be an addictive personality in a positive way. Like anything that you do, you can get fully immersed into, right? So like my thing would be the strength training. Right? Like I have an addictive personality to that where like once I learned how to understand strength in my body and getting and efficiently getting stronger and then also learning about like different parts of strength and conditioning, I got into the books and like I started reading a lot of things on it and then I started doing more research on it. And so at that point I'll go on deep dives and like on really dense, important and like lengthy information that I just dove into because it was important for me, right? Like, and it was something that I just got into on that particular side. Like, I would consider that addictive, you know? Like, it doesn't always have to be a negative thing. I think we look at addictive personalities, which, like, it's a shame that it would be called addictive, right? Or, like, an obsession to a degree. But you can be obsessed with, like, jujitsu, right? You can be addicted to learning all of the small things of it where, like, someone would say you are overdoing something, right? Where like you're not doing it in moderation. And yeah, I think we all have some of that to a degree.
Yeah.
But what do you think yours is?
On the positive side, it's definitely MMA because I want to be able to teach every single position to the highest degree possible. So that's where I come into my attention to detail when I'm learning something new, and I get pretty obsessive about making sure I'm doing it right.
Yeah.
So probably that.
So then my question would be, do you think every great person, every successful person is addicted to something? Or has an addiction to some sort of thing?
I don't think so.
Because I think it makes you crazy. And like I was, you know, I've been told that I was crazy a lot of times in my life. And like, you're like one of the craziest people I know for doing this, or you're crazy enough to do that. And like, I think you got to be kind of crazy to do pretty much anything that's like of substantiality. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think every ultra successful person is crazy to an extent that spends their life on one thing, trying to make it perfect. It goes back to that, like, what is it? What is the saying? I forget the saying. It's hurting me. But it'll come back some. But yeah, so I think to be the best at something, like the number one in the world at something, you do have to be pretty crazy to an extent. Yeah. To make sure you're doing it right. And so yes, but do I think what was the other question? What was the original question?
Do you think you have an addictive personality?
Oh, no. No, after that. Jeez, I'm a little sorry.
You're a little shot right now.
Yeah. You're asking a lot of questions and it throw me off.
I am asking a good amount of questions. Okay, so I
yes,
asked.
every successful person is crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the final answer.
I agree. And I think it could be crazy in good ways and bad ways, right? I think mostly good. You'd hope that your crazy comes out in those good ways. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. And you got to kind of live with those decisions you make. But I don't think I'll trade it, though, personality-wise. Like, I don't think I'll trade being crazy
No, I wouldn't.
for any of the stuff that I'm doing.
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Speaking of crazy,
Speaking of crazy.
not even. I don't know. This is crazy to some, not crazy to others. Andre 3 Stacks dropped a solo wind instrument album.
He did. I didn't get a chance to listen to it. The titles are crazy long.
Yeah, I didn't
And
get
it's a long album for 8 songs.
Yeah,
It's an hour and like 10 minutes.
Yeah, just playing wind instruments.
What's your ideal length of an album?
Songs or time?
Time.
How long do I want to listen to an album? Maybe somewhere in the hour ballpark.
Yeah, I feel that's a long album.
I think if it's a good album, an hour will go
Yeah,
quick.
yeah. No, if it's a good album, like, it doesn't matter how long it is.
Yeah,
But
so
I would
think-
say the average length I'd like for a really good album is like 40 to 50 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
'Cause that's a commute for most people. Like, I would say a 45-minute commute is nice to listen to a full album.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still sticking with my hour.
Yeah, I like the hour.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty round number. If
I
it's
don't
a
like
good-
short albums, though. So, like, I'm happy that this is a longer one. I just don't like short ones. But I definitely don't want it to be too long where now I'm like, all right, I'm 16 songs in. I'm like, this thing should be done already.
I'm not a fan of a lot of skits and all that.
Your age group doesn't like skits.
It's not that I don't like skits. It's just like when I'm listening to an album, I like listening to music.
Your age group does not like skits.
Like Welcome to Cali Grove 2 has a lot of skits.
But I like that in the way that the album is structured. So, like, you guys are listening to the songs as songs. You're not listening to it from the storyline. And even if it feels like the storyline's not there, that you can't grasp, like, they're trying to go from the beginning of an album to the end of an album as a story. And, like,
I'm all for that.
typically the skits are there for a reason. Like, they're tell you something along the way, and it's giving you something to, like, keep matching up the songs with. And that, to me, is what I like about an album. Like, what's the last album you listened to front to back?
Oh man. Probably Chris Brown's.
And there's no skits in there.
No.
And, like, could you tell what story he was trying to talk about in there? Or do you think he just made a collection of songs?
I think there was a collection of songs that had a theme.
Which I would say yes. There's a lot of, but I feel like the Kendrick album has a lot of skits.
Which one, Mr. Morale?
Yeah, it's got a decent amount of skits based off of, like, the beginning of the songs going into the song, right? Like,
yeah.
there's dialogue in the beginning of the songs that have something to do with the song, where, like, you could skip that if you wanted to. But imagine if he just cut those up and said those were skits, and then he went
Yeah.
into the song. That's essentially what he did. Like, I
Okay.
think that he kind of got away with being able to get you to listen to the whole thing.
Yeah, well, when you put the skits in the song, then
Yeah.
it's like it's a song. So I guess because he tries to tell a story in every single song almost. It feels like so.
Yes.
If you don't listen to it, you're missing out on the story. But for the skits,
That's what I'm saying.
it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't feel like that.
It doesn't feel like you're getting something that adds value to the next song. you're
Yeah.
saying. Okay.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I
That's
mean,
fair.
well-placed skits with a very impactful storyline are good. But when your
Okay.
skits don't really match and don't fit, that's where I have a problem.
But how do you know they don't fit? Like, they took their last year of their life putting that skit together, like putting that together with the album to, like, try to match up so much of the story. So, like, maybe you're not listening to it well enough.
Maybe maybe it's me. It
Let's
could be.
go back to an album that you feel like the skits. Like, I'll tell you another album that has lots of skits, is the first Tory Lanez album.
What was that?
One of the first Tory, like with "Say It" on there. Hold on, let me find it for you.
I remember when one of the Tory Lanez albums came out, I listened to it, not front to back, but almost.
I Told You.
I don't know if I listened to that one when it first came out.
I Told You has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
Jesus.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14 skits out of 28 songs. So every other song has a skit.
See, that's a little excessive in my eyes.
But it depends on how you listen to it. So like the album itself is an hour and 19 minutes. So if you took the skits out, on average, you're taking about at least 20 minutes of the album out. So now you got a 58-minute album.
Right down your lane right there.
Right up my alley. But if you listen to it on the whole way through, the skits like add to the song. They make it what it is.
I don't know. It's very. It's like a very.
We don't have to stay on the skits, by the way.
It's a very gray area for me. I feel like when it's done well, it's phenomenal, and then when it's not done well, you can kind of. Well, at least in my eyes, I can kind of feel it and see it. But
Yeah.
It's everybody's personal taste, and if you like skits, good for you, I guess.
For sure.
But
For sure.
Andre 3000's Wind album, I gotta listen to it. I would, it's no
I'll
song.
listen to it. I'll listen to it just because I think you should listen to Andre 3000 albums when they come out.
I'm just an Andre 3000 guy.
Where's Outkast in your list of greats?
Groups or all time?
Groups and all time. Groups first.
Groups.
We need more rap groups.
We do need more rap groups.
That's why I like 41. The album, you know that song, the song "Bent" that I was kept playing the whole time in Miami.
Yeah, probably.
Yes, I love them because they are a rap group. I like rap groups. Bring rap groups back. We need that too.
Bring rap groups
41.
back.
Shout out to 41 too. That song "Bent" in the remix with Sexy Red is, to me, I wish that came out in the summer, but it might roll into next summer. I hope it rolls into next summer because that's one of those songs that like I need to hear that out.
Did we have a song of the summer, by the way?
I don't think so, and that was a good question because I don't know what the song of the summer was. I thought it was "Don't Give It Away" by Friday and Chris Brown, but that might be my Chris Brown cape on.
It's your Chris Brown cape right there.
Yeah, I think I thought that should have been the song of the summer. Shout out to Steven because him and I talked about the song. I thought that was going to be the song of the summer. You got to take a gamble every now and then on song of the summer.
I feel like we didn't have one. Just didn't feel like one stuck.
Was it Sexy Red? Anything? Song of the Summer 2023. I get it. Billboard had Morgan Wallen's Last Night.
It's fair, I guess.
Songs of the Summer ranked Ski Yee. Yep. Was on there. Young Nudie and 21 Savage, Peaches and Eggplants. That was one of my songs. That song is fire. A lot of these I could see why it wouldn't be. Nicki Minaj and Ice Spice, Barbie World. Lil Yachty, Strike. Central C and Dave, Sprinter. Love that song. Lotto and Cardi B, Put It on the Floor. Taliban says Fire by Byron Messiah. The Gunna song. And Sexy Red, Ski Yee. Yeah, I like those. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
And nothing was definitive though. Like
No.
nothing was like you can go like your mom would know that song.
Yeah.
Like your mom would know my mom would know the song of the summer right
That's
now.
what I feel like. That's what a song in the summer should be.
Yeah.
Like everybody should know it. But
Right.
yeah, so I didn't. That was just an off-topic thing. Outkast top 3 groups.
Top 3.
Probably. I mean,
Yeah, I
you
like
got
that.
Wu-Tang, you got Outkast, you got who else? You got?
UGK.
Yeah.
UGK was one of them.
Yeah, I don't know. It got to be top 3. If I went back and did my research, I could probably come up with a better answer.
Yeah, I like that.
It's hard to say there's a group better than Outkast. If I put it in that word. In those
Drake and
words.
J. Cole going on tour as well.
Are they? I didn't see that.
New tour, Big as the What tour. I think I'm gonna go.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna go again. But I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go out of the state to go to that tour.
How far?
Oh, I'll go anywhere for that. I'm gonna go to a fun city though. They have one in Tampa. Like I think I'll do that one.
Oh man, I don't even want to talk about Tampa.
Why?
I'll tell you. I'll tell you off.
Oh boy, did something happen in Tampa?
No, nothing happened.
Were
in
you
Tampa.
supposed to go there?
It was in the play at one point.
Okay.
Tampa was in the play, but no. Were they? Was I talking to them? I think I talked to them at one point.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, no. Anyway.
Something different in Tampa.
Yeah, something different.
Okay.
Anyway.
Anywho.
What else we got going on?
What's going on with Josh Giddey?
Yeah. That's a tough story.
Talk to me about Josh Giddey.
See, I don't know the full story. You know, it's that case of underage girl, overaged guy.
Has anybody ever asked you that question one time? Have you ever had underage sex?
Wait, what?
There's like a question people ask on like Instagram. There's a question that people are asking. It's like, have you ever had underage sex? And it's like you can't say yes or no.
That's a crazy question.
It is because you have to think of. Never mind.
That's a horrible question.
Forget it. It's a crazy question, right?
Yeah, that's a terrible question.
But think about that like question that gets asked. Like, it's. We'll talk about it after. But it's wild.
Yeah, that's wild.
If you see where I'm going with this,
that's crazy. But yeah, Josh Giddey, unfortunately, in a tough situation here with allegations of having activities with a minor.
Mark Daigneault gives update on Josh Giddey's status in the midst.
But
Oklahoma City head coach Mark Daigneault clarification of Josh Giddey's immediate game status at NBA's 21-year-old for an inappropriate relationship with a minor in his pregame. Be able to play today.
So what I did see recently on Twitter, I think it was yesterday, a video came out of that same girl was in a club, and you can't get into a club if you are underage. Showing
allegedly.
Well, yeah. So yes. It would suggest that she lied about her age. If she's in the club with Josh Giddey, you gotta be 21 to be in a club.
Should be allegedly.
But how is he supposed to know?
It's an interesting road you're going down.
It is.
But I'm gonna.
So if I'm playing,
what I will say is, every man who's at the age of 21. Every person who is of age to do anything with any person, you should be doing as much due diligence as possible with the women that you are encountering.
I mean, what else? I'm playing. I'm favoring Josh Giddey right now, trying to give him benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
Because
now, how old did they say this girl was?
I don't know. Actually, 17 maybe.
Okay.
Now,
he's living in Oklahoma. So I don't know what the statute of limitations are.
Was it in Oklahoma,
or statutory limitations, rather.
I don't know where this took place.
Josh Giddey.
I guess you have to assume Oklahoma,
situation. Right? Because I just don't know.
It's so tough. Regardless what happens, it's kind of a blemish on his personal brand.
Had a relationship with an underage girl, and a since deleted post, an anonymous social media user says, girl who was seen with Giddey in videos, photographs, was a high school junior at the time. Social media account has been since deactivated. Giddey is an Australian who turned 21 in October. We're looking into it. Giddey and Okami. I understand the question, obviously, he said, but there's no further comment right now. I get the question, guys. I completely understand you guys want to know about it, but just for right now, I don't have anything to say. Yeah, he shouldn't be saying anything.
Yeah, no, you can't. Don't say anything.
Where do you think this goes for Josh Giddey?
Regardless what happens, it's still not a good look.
No, it's not a good look. And I don't know. Well, see, now there's some interesting things here because I didn't know he was Australian.
I didn't know that either.
So Australians may have a much different outlook on age and consent and timing of things. Now, I don't know if he was, because that's the thing. I don't know how long ago this was either. Did they say how long ago this was? Because if it was, let's say, a year ago and he was 20 and she was 17, and now the statutory limits were 3 years or 4 years or whatever the case may be. Now he's in America and he has to deal with those laws here. It becomes a very interesting scenario.
Yeah. It's tough.
But At the same time, he's got to do a little bit more due diligence about his career. He is an NBA player. He is making a lot of money. Not as much as everybody else yet, because he's still very young. But his career is ascending in the right direction. That being said, he's still allowed to play. Where do you see... Do you think leagues should have a say in what goes on with its players outside of the game?
As in, like...
This.
What do you mean?
How the NBA is investigating this. Right? And now, we got to put into perspective, he is very young. Like, he's a child.
My age.
He's a child. And so, that being said, it's not that he's not smart, and it's not that he didn't make a bad choice. But think about how many 21-year-olds we give leeway.
Yeah.
We give 21-year-olds a lot of leeway in this country to make mistakes. I was just having this conversation the other day about one of my friends who had a really interesting conversation. I won't get into it, but they had a problem with one of their parents who called one of my best friends her father had some interesting words that he didn't mean to get out about her boyfriend, who's one of my other best friends. And one of the things that I think that was interesting about that conversation that I thought later, after that conversation was done, is you have, like, they've been together for about 8 years. And you have about 4 years. They've been together since they were like 19. And so you have about 4 years of college to be like a loser, like an idiot. Like, you can be an idiot for a little bit. And, like, not necessarily a loser, that's a bad word, but you can make bad choices. And you can kind of mess up if you want to on a consistent basis. And, like, we just got to keep giving you mulligans, right? Just keep giving you, like, passes after passes. And so, because eventually you're going to get it right. And you're supposed to get it right later, right? You're not supposed to get it right at 21. So Josh Giddey, how right is he supposed to get it at 21? But just because he's an NBA player.
Yeah, I mean, just because he's an NBA player might change things for people.
Yeah, like, do we put too much emphasis on them being excellent at what they do versus them not still knowing how the world operates?
It's almost like we dehumanize them.
Or do you think we give them too much money at an early age? And what is the right amount of money? Because there's a lot of people who aren't doing what he's doing at that young age.
Yeah.
So clearly they're still doing things right. Like, the odds are in his favor to make more poor decisions, but there's people who aren't making poor decisions at his same age.
Yeah.
But who do you, like, which side do you go with? Like, hey, he made a really bad choice because he's this age, or he made a really bad choice because he's this age and he's got a lot of money and he's an NBA player and he thinks he can do whatever he wants?
I think it's both. Like,
it's got to be a little bit of both.
It's got to be both.
In my opinion, I think it's got to be a little bit of both.
Yeah, I think it's more so the age and developing and still making bad decisions. The money doesn't help.
Think about what these guys have to do, and this is where, like, I come in as an agent, right? Like, so, like, when I think about clients and I think about my professional clients, a lot of those guys and women, men and women, are very young, and I'm very young. So, like, I'm going to make choices that aren't smart, but I've made more of them that are smart. So, but does that make me just like the smartest guy in the room? No. It just makes my timing of those situations more beneficial for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, Josh Giddey could be a really, really smart guy, and he could have had a really good conversation with this girl, and he should have known, hey, I think I'm in a bad position here because I think the age gap where we're at could hinder me.
But how would he know?
Well, he's got to ask.
But what if she said I'm 21?
But he's got to ask.
And she's got a fake idea that says she's 21. You got to bring out the birth certificate?
It's up to what you believe. It's up to what you believe, right? So, like, if you don't think, and that's where I would say he's wrong. Because if you don't fully believe it, and you think that there's even a glimmer of a doubt, like, you got to do your due diligence. You got to try your best or avoid it, right? Like, he still has a chance to make choices that are beneficial for him in the long run. And, like, if he had any doubt that this girl wasn't the age that she was supposed to be, he's got to go and make himself a right decision. And one of the things that's different about that's at the highest level, especially in the NBA, especially then with the NBA is working with the agencies, right? And they don't necessarily love working with the agencies but they have to because they know that their players are being protected. So with that, the NBA itself, their teams, the organizations give the players handlers, right? So Josh Giddey will do things that he wants on his own time because he's his own person. But when he's putting himself in scenarios that maybe he's going out to the club because he's got friends who are going out into the club. He's a rookie, so he's going out with the veterans and things like that. They have people out there to make sure that they don't get in trouble, specifically don't get in trouble or put themselves in harm's way. Now, they can't do everything, but they do about 90% of the job. Like, hey, Josh, where you at? Hey, Josh, where you going? Where are you going? Right? Hey, Josh, we're going to go to the club with you because we just want to make sure that everything's all good and copacetic and, like, we'll hang out with you there, but, like, and they become friends. And those are the people that you usually bring in, like, sometimes around the entourage. That's one thing that you got to learn, too. The entourage ain't always the best. Sometimes you got to pick the right people in your entourage and know what people you're moving around with. Because the people who you're moving around with are going to decide a lot of things for you. And they're going to enable a lot of things, or they're going to take you out of harm's way. So that's where my other question would be is, who didn't screen this person, right? Like, if you're around an NBA commodity, you got to be able to screen and understand and vet out what's going on here. Somebody should have told him, I don't think that girl is of age.
Yeah.
Somebody knows that he was hanging around this girl.
Okay. Yeah.
He's not the only person that knew this.
That changes. Yeah, that changes my
like if you came if we went out somewhere and you were 21 and I saw the girl that you were around and I knew that she wasn't of the age. But I knew that you would have a potential to, you know, either like this person or continue to advance the conversation or whatever it could be. I would let you know, hey, I don't think that person's of age, right? Now, you're going to ultimately do what you want, but you also aren't smart enough yet fully, right? You're a smart guy,
yeah.
But you're not you haven't maybe been in those scenarios yet where you've been pressed to be able to say, you know what, I can make this choice right now, and it may not hurt me now, right? Like, you haven't been in those scenarios. Josh Giddey was. He's making at least $1 million in the NBA. Let's look at his contract.
I guess that, that makes things a little different.
He's a good player, too.
I guess it does come down to your environment and who you're around, because if that same exact scenario happened that you just said and you came up to me and said that, I'm out of there. I'm right out of there.
You got to be. Oh, listen. Josh Giddey.
That comes down to the environment of who you're around.
Josh Giddey signed a 4-year, $27 million contract with Oklahoma City Thunder, including $27 million guaranteed and an annual average salary of $6.8 million. In 2023-2024, Giddey will earn a base salary of $6.5 million while carrying a cap hit of $6.5 million. Now, since he's an international sign, I don't know if I think he got drafted, but his draft status. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, yeah, he was a number 6. He's a lottery pick in 2021. Yeah, no, you're a commodity. Like, you're a way bigger commodity. He didn't just sign. Like, he's a lottery pick, man. He's a top 6 pick in the draft. Yeah, no, Josh Giddey, you gotta wear that a little bit, man. You gotta know what's going on. And the people at the Oklahoma City Thunder have to make sure that they know what's going on with him. You can't just put him in he cannot put himself, he's not allowed to put himself in scenarios that he doesn't know what's going on. But he's also a kid.
Yeah, he is. It's a very tough situation.
It's a really
tough situation. I don't know. We'll see where it goes, I guess. I mean, what do you do now?
It's tough because the money doesn't even come with the fame, because I don't think if this didn't happen, you wouldn't know really who Josh Giddey was. The average person doesn't know who Josh Giddey is.
Right.
The average human being who watches sports doesn't know who Josh Giddey is unless he puts himself in a situation like this. So it's not even a conversation of like fame over being rich. Like Kyle and I talk about it all the time. Like, he's like, I don't even want fame. I don't want to be rich. It's like, I just want to be wealthy, and I want to move low, and I want to be like able to be out the way.
Retweet.
And some people want to be famous, like, and I think some of it you kind of can't, especially now. Excuse me, with the way social media kind of operates, and how you have to use it to your advantage. You almost get famous before you get rich, or sometimes you're famous and you're just famous. You may not even be rich. I know a lot of famous people who aren't rich. I know more famous people who aren't rich, who maybe are making 6 figures, maybe. Some of them are making 5 figures, but they got 300,000 followers on Instagram. So that's where their following is. It looks like that 20,000 followers, 100,000 followers here, and they look famous, right? But they don't have anything to show for it if you really dive in. But like Josh Giddey, to the average person, like your mom doesn't know who Josh Giddey is. Your mom may never know who Josh Giddey is if he wasn't in the news. You know, interesting. It's really, really interesting.
Yeah, it is.
And then you juxtapose that with the Diddy situation.
I don't know that. You got to talk to me. I don't know that.
So
situation.
Diddy and Cassie settled in civil court for rape charges and sexual assault. And so tough scenario, tough situation I'm sure that she was in, and I feel bad for any woman who's been in a situation like that. Like that won't sit right with me ever. I'm not really into that. It kind of bothers me to even talk about it. But that's a really tough situation too. I've heard people have asked the question, why didn't she take it to criminal court as opposed to civil court, where you can get $1, you can get some money out of it and just settle? Why wouldn't a woman who did get sexually assaulted or claims that she got sexually assaulted and raped, that she didn't take it to criminal court? What do you think? It's a touchy subject too.
I don't know. It's a tough one for me to answer because I'm not very well versed in that whole thing of like the differences between civil court and criminal court.
Sure.
I mean, like, so I guess it's hard for me to answer.
Civil court is down to the definition of civil, right?
Okay.
Like, we're not trying to take this further than it needs to go. We're gonna basically say that you did this, and that you're gonna have to figure out a way to settle on whatever makes the most sense. And the longer it takes in civil court, the more money usually that comes out, depending on the evidence, right? And obviously there was enough evidence for Diddy to think, okay, if this goes longer, I'm going to have to owe her more money, right? And him settling, to some people that could think that he did it. And he already put out a statement that said it wasn't an admission of guilt. It's tough.
Yeah,
right?
It's very tough.
It's pretty tough. It's pretty tough to dissect.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. And none of us will really know what happened except those two.
Only 2 of them know.
To say that he did it, you can have that. To say he didn't do it and that he's not admitting guilt, you can also have that. I have my opinions on it. I think it's interesting. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I mean, only 2 people know what happened, and we can speculate and make our assumptions based on what Diddy did with the settlement and everything else.
Yeah.
The court plays a part in it of, like you said.
This is why we need Patreon. We need Patreon.
Yeah, but
we need it.
So
I want to say things, but I can't say them.
What happened. So what happened? What just happened in the news? They settled?
Yes.
And so are they done from that point? Like,
they're done, yeah.
Okay.
Supposedly, but now he's got other people who have also come out now and say that I think there's 3 other women now that came out and said that in 1991, same things have happened.
In 1991?
Yes.
We need a Patreon.
We need a Patreon.
I don't have any comments. Got no No comments.
I know. Without your no comments, make a lot of sense.
I got nothing to say on YouTube about this.
Correct the mundo.
So,
Josh Giddey, prayers and thoughts, man. I hope that you figure this thing out. I think you're a good ball player, and to be honest, you'd be on my fantasy team if I had a fantasy team. So, Diddy, love your music. Your music objectively is incredible. Your last album was incredible. Listen, we need something. We're gonna get to a paywall, guys.
Yeah.
Eventually, we'll get to a paywall.
Uncut, unfiltered, but for now, that's all I got on that subject.
That's all I got in general. I
Yeah.
mean, I got my only thing I would talk about. I want to get an update on the Hamas hostages.
Oh yeah, I just saw they did a trade. They're on a little piece, 4-day peace thing.
Okay.
So they're trading back and forth the hostages. Get as many of the hostages out. Let's hope for peace. I don't know what the next steps are. It looks like we're just fighting. War's going on, and it's unfortunate.
Trying to live to see another day.
Yeah.
It seems like.
Let's get those hostages out, and let's figure something out, because war is.
War's upon us.
Who likes war?
Yeah.
It's hard to say anybody does.
It's such a financial benefit to countries.
That's what I don't want to, Patreon.
It's a really
Patreon. I'll air out everything I got.
Really, really interesting.
On here,
we will certainly do a Patreon.
I got nothing. Another no comment on that, because
yeah, we will get into that a little bit further.
That's unfiltered.
Yeah, prayers and thoughts to the Hamas hostages and everybody involved, from Palestine to Israel and all of the like. What else you got? Any quick hitters?
Quick hitters? I think I'm out.
Quick hitters. Eagles win again.
Eagles win. Who else played?
Eagles win. I mean, the Niners won again. I think it's going to be an Eagles, Niners, or
Jets?
Cowboys scenario. No. Jets were on Black Friday, and what's tough is that we're so bad right now, but next year Aaron Rodgers is going to come back. That's what we think. We think he's going to come back. I'm leaning toward he's coming back for next year. But I still don't fully know, because people, listen, man, decisions get made on the fly these days.
True.
And how people feel one day is not going to be how they feel the next. So
That's life.
Amen. And so I still don't. I think he says he's coming back, and that's what we're going to have to believe.
Yeah.
And I'm going to stick to that for a little bit until I get some different information. But they're going to keep putting us into primetime slots next year. So like we almost got like the pass of the century to a degree of like, okay, you're going to be bad, but we're going to keep getting these primetime slots. So you can see our defense. Defense is good, but we can't score points. And so, tough situation. But next year, we're going to be in the same primetime slots. I think I'm going to have Eagles, Chiefs, Super Bowl.
Okay.
Or Eagles, Ravens, Super Bowl.
Heard the Ravens were good this year.
Ravens are good. They did it again yesterday. I think they won. And, I'm leaning...
Jets pack it in this year. See you next year.
Yeah, maybe win 2 or 3 more games. Maybe we're 4-7 right now. Maybe they go and win. Maybe they go 7-10 or 6-11. And there's going to be some changes to be made. But that's why there's a GM, and that's why there's an ownership, and they're going to have to make those decisions.
Another quick hit: UFC this weekend in Austin. By
Really?
the way, yeah, UFC Austin.
Who's the head? Who's
Beneil
the
Dariush,
main event?
Arman Saryukian.
Saryukian. I like Saryukian.
They're both. Yeah, they're dogs.
They are dogs.
Apparently, this is the first camp that Beneil Dariush has had a nutritionist. So hopefully his cut is a little bit better.
He struggles with cut.
He has a rough cuts. Like, he looks
Really?
dead.
Huh.
So hopefully this nutritionist changed his life.
Got it.
So we'll see. Maybe a new Benny coming out. And our guy, Drakkar Klose, is on the card.
Oh, get out of town.
Yeah,
Let's
he's
go,
on the
Drakkar.
He
Shout
just
out to Drakkar. Shout out to Amanda.
came back from ACL, I want to say. He tore something in his knee a while ago, and he's been recovering. So he's back on the card, hoping for a win from him.
Yeah, need
him.
a big one. We'll be rooting for him.
Good. He believed in us before.
That's my man.
Before we
Shout out
started
to him.
rolling. Yeah, so he's back on the card. Dan Hooker off the card, Jalen Turner on the card,
Love Jalen
Bobby
Turner.
Green, somebody else, and I'm forgetting. Somebody
It's
else
a good card in Austin, man.
It's a very good card.
They do, even some of the cards, like, I would consider that like a B plus, A minus card.
It's a very good card, yeah.
Even in a city that doesn't necessarily garner a ton of MMA attraction.
Right.
Like, they go to some of these smaller cities and they still put on a crazy card.
I mean, new cities are trying to see these fights now that it's like mainstream. Everybody knows about the UFC, so when a card goes to these cities that they're not normally at, those locals want to go to it, and they're going to show out. And
we talked about it a little bit in Miami too. How long do you think it could be that Conor doesn't fight before someone says like who's going to replace him as far as like theatrics?
I mean, replace nobody.
Yeah, or who's going to be like, because nobody's going to replace him. He's one of one. But like, who theatrically can drum up the amount of attention that he does?
It's tough. I mean,
sell the fight. I don't think there's anybody in MMA history who's sold fights.
No, nobody has. But I mean, Izzy has done it. He's sold fights. He's built fights. He's animated. He's done it. I mean, you got Alex Pereira that doesn't sell at all, and he's got this huge following of people that want to see him fight. So it's very different from person to person.
There's a lot of the MMA has such and UFC specifically has such an advantage of being able to sell fights in multiple ways, and now they're selling it in the physicality as opposed to just like the personality.
Yeah.
Right? Because like, I don't think Pereira has any personality.
No, I think he does.
Couldn't sell. But he couldn't sell me. He doesn't sell me on the fight ever. He
No.
only sells me on how physical he is when it comes to the fight.
Right.
Like, that he, in every weight class he goes into, he just looks like a monster. And like every time he gets into something, it looks insane. Like,
I think it's also because we're becoming a lot more intelligent of the sport. Like back when Conor was, even back when Conor was fighting, the casual fan wasn't as well equipped and well versed in understanding what's going on in the fight. They just wanted the violence, the blood, the everything else, the theatrics of Conor.
Right.
Now the casual fan has a pretty good knowledge on like what fighting is and like the sport and the science behind it. So seeing Alex Pereira light kick Giddey and seeing his setups to his high kick and his flying knees, like people can understand that and see what's happening.
right.
Which is why I think he sells it so well, even when he doesn't sell, is because people want to see good fights and technical fights more so than not more so, but more than they used to. They used to be theatrics first, fighting second. Now I think it's switching to
It's balancing it. It's balancing itself out.
high level fighting with the theatrics is like a recipe for great success.
Do you guys ever have any like fight parties at the camp?
Are
Are you watching them or something?
Yeah, we have like we'll go to a house and we'll watch it.
Got it.
And yeah, so it's cool. We'll do that. Yeah, we do
I want to
that.
bring like a projector to like Stray Dogs.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Could do that.
Sit down, watch the fights with everybody on the mats.
And then everybody get up and fight each other.
That'd be fun. I'm kind of in.
That'd be
We'll
cool.
We'll figure that out. We'll talk to Pando about it.
Yeah. Always thinking.
What else we got? What else have we missed?
Yo, gaming's in a great spot right now.
Gaming's in a great spot.
It's right up my alley.
Are you a Kick guy or are you a Twitch guy?
Twitch guy.
Have you seen Kick though?
Yeah, I'm very.
You've seen it.
I understand. Yeah. I don't know.
Aiden Ross
It's
runs Kick.
I don't know what's going on with like the behind the scenes because I don't know where they're getting all that money. It's interesting because they shouldn't have all that money, but they do.
Why not?
They just started. It just doesn't add up.
Well, let's check it out. I mean, there's some billionaires a part of it. I think at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I guess investors and everything else, but the money they're throwing out just doesn't quite add up in my head.
Who invested in Kick? Kick has 7 investors, including Davidov's Venture Collective and Hugo Anselm. When was the last funding round for Kick? Kick closed its funding round for January 2023. It's like a Crunchbase. 7 investors, 9 similar companies.
Yeah, but I mean, I wish maybe I'll upgrade some computer parts and start
Cough
streaming.
Drop Capital. Hugo Anselm. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to see how much they invested though. $6 million. They aim to raise.
Like that because they're giving Aiden Ross
I don't believe that though.
20-something million.
Huh? I don't know.
It's
I'm trying to see.
It's a little sketch, to be honest. But what do I know?
Yeah, it says 11.7 million on the first round of funding in November 10th, 2023. But I think it's over a course of years. So like they're giving it to him over what, 2 years? It was like 2 years, 200 million or something like that.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was something like that.
I ain't pocket watching, but that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
And I think it's growing every day, so I think the investment of it is now getting more people onto the. But like, I don't understand how this. Like, it's a free platform.
I know. Like, I don't know how they're making their money because they're giving all their money back.
It's got to be sponsorships, man. It really
because
is. And people
like
trying to get their ads on there.
The streaming part of it, like you subscribe to a streamer, and usually the platform takes a percentage. Apparently, Kick is not taking a percentage and giving it to the streamer, so they're not making money there. Twitch takes a lot of the percentage, which is why they make so much money.
Which is the right thing to do.
It's business.
But how much of a percentage you think?
I don't know. I heard streamers, I forget who talked about it, but somebody said it was like 20%, maybe 25%.
That's not terrible, man. It's really not.
Yeah. Not for the big ones, but for the small streamers.
For small streamers, like I think it's got to be on a sliding scale, though. No, it takes 20% off of anybody.
I don't know. See,
it's got to be.
I'll research.
We'll do some research on that because like I'd be hard pressed to think that they would just come up and say they're just going to straight up take money from a person like you who's starting streaming or whatever. But are you starting to stream?
I want to, but my computer currently cannot handle it. Okay. Yeah, but I would love to be honest. Because I like games. I like playing. So why not just
go on Facebook Marketplace?
I'm looking. But I like watching them. Tim the Tatman's the man.
Tim the Tatman?
He's my number one. Shout out to that. Shout out to him, man.
Shout out to Kai too. Shout out to Kai Sinat. Shout out to the whole AMP. I like them. Shout out to Mark too for putting me on. Mark my man. Streaming's in a really cool place, and I just want to see how creative it can get because like the athletes are starting to stream now, but it has to be connected to something else though, like tangible. I think. Yeah. Like Micah Parsons is a gamer, but he streams. He's an athlete. He's a super athlete. Mm-hmm. So, I think. Do you think athletes have to do something else to stream, or can they just be on? Essentially live.
I think they could just be live, to be honest. Like, a Micah Parsons can pay for an editor to just so that he can sit there, play live, talk to his community, whoever's watching him, and then his editor goes, makes clips out of that, posts it on YouTube. His YouTube starts growing with his gaming, and I think you're good. So if I'm Micah Parsons, I'm paying a full-time editor, and I'm streaming.
He can.
Every single. Yeah. I'm streaming as much as I can. If I'm him.
Yeah.
Obviously outside of his athletic career.
What would you say to a person like myself? Like what do you think I should stream if I were to start streaming?
If you were to start streaming, I'm saying if you're not a gamer, I would say you go down
games or something like that.
I would say you go down the Aiden Ross, Kai Cenat route of being live, being a personality, watching other things like Kai Cenat reacts to stuff and posts it. Talks to he's just a ball of energy that just is on go.
He is on go.
So and Aiden Ross too, but he had like the Tory Lanez freestyle put him on. So like he knew people that he was able to get good content.
Yeah.
But like if you're just gonna sit down and go live, it's so tough. You either gotta have that ball of fire like Kai Cenat, or you gotta know people like Aiden Ross.
You gotta be willing to go to like the next level as far as like creating content over everything. Like, you can't just have like normal content that's not good. That you might as well just make YouTube videos.
Right. Yeah. Right. So I mean, streaming's tough, especially if you're not a gamer. I mean, being a gamer, that's kind of how streaming begun.
Yeah.
And now people are taking it to a new level.
Gaming competitions. Are you into that?
Like competitive?
Yeah.
I mean, could I have gone competitive? If I could have gone competitive in any game, it might have been COD. Okay. But the payouts aren't necessarily great in competitive esports.
Got it.
Compared to like if you were a big time streamer, you're making a lot more than you would if you won a competition.
It's interesting because it's becoming a full-time job at this point.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But as it becomes a full-time job, it gives other people opportunities to make it that way. And it's like, I feel like there's a formula at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the formula is just being entertaining. Like,
Yeah.
be something people want to watch, have energy, do something cool, do something different, or just be the best at the game. Like, you have the competitive players that are just the best, and they're going to gain a following because people want to see the best player in a certain game and see how they play and try and be the best, try and, like, learn from it.
Yeah, I think everything comes down to entertainment value and providing a separation of reality for people when it comes to the streaming or but I just feel like it's so obtainable in a lot of ways for a lot of people. Not necessarily at the level of which like a Kai Cenat, like he's a one-of-one type of person to me. Like I always look at these people who I think are one-of-ones, and like him and Aiden Ross, who else? Timmy Tap, Timmy whatever his last name is.
Tim the Tap Man.
Tim the Tap
Man. He's got all tattoos, so his name is Tim, and he's the Tap Man, tattoo
Tim the
man.
Tat Man.
Tim the Tap Man.
So like he's a one-of-one. Clearly, like these are people who have made it in a different way, and they've probably trailblazed in different forms. So shout out to them, man.
Dude, yeah, shout out to them. When I'm editing these, I put on Tim the Tap Man. He's my number one. Shout out to him. I would love to have him on.
See if you can get him on.
I'll check it. Hey, Tim.
Reach out, see if we can get him on the TV right here.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. We can get him on the TV.
Listen, man.
He seems like a down to earth guy. He would do it.
We're gonna do a TV pod with somebody very soon.
Let's do it.
Chat with some people and get us going.
We have to reorganize the setup to be able to look at them, but we'll figure it out
for sure.
That was a good episode.
Very good episode.
A little all over the place, but here we are.
I like it. We covered some cool things though.
Episode 20. We're a fifth of the way to 100. Like, comment, subscribe. Everything's doing well. I don't really have much to say. Just keep pounding all the
subscribe button. Tell us what you want. If you want us to get into more topics, go ahead and watch our Patreon. It's going to come out soon. We've got a lot of things to say, and we don't get the same all over YouTube. So
would like to hear content suggestions for the Patreon too. Like, what do you guys want to see from us that's not necessarily sitting down and just talking?
Right. What's something that we can do to follow some people around? Another stream of consciousness is going to come soon in the next couple of weeks. We've got some things going, so I've got some ideas.
Let's get it. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
Peace.